And again, that will be in your documentation. We literally got this today, so it's not fully installed yet. But so here are the main piece of equipment that you'll be using. You got the MPC Live. Why not? You know, there's Ableton. So the recording software that's currently on here is GarageBand. Will have Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton Live, and I think that's.
If I own like FL Studio, can I like put it on there? Like I don't even care if people use it.
Yeah,
I'll just open it. Yeah, I own it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I might talk to. We might just put it on anyway. How much is FL?
So I paid $400 for the producer edition, I believe. I think it was like $3.99 or something like that.
Okay, so the hardware in the studio is everything is routing through this guy. This is the Apollo X8, and this is the Apollo X4. Those are where you're getting most of your recorded lines. And so your microphones, currently the sound system here and the studio system are two completely separate systems. And so if you have a microphone on the kick drum, right now it's plugged into that, which goes out to the mains.
Right.
If you want to re-mic that and record it, you will unplug it and plug it into one of these pieces of gear on the back. And I won't do like a deep dive on how recording works, but essentially I want you to understand what all the equipment here does. So plugging stuff into the back of this is immediately going to get you signal into the computer, and then that changes it from analog mic signal into digital information that your recording software can use. And I'm going to pull this console down. It's a little bit overkill to use the big screen as a secondary monitor. Okay, so this is console, and this is, if you think of this as a digital version of the mixing desks that you see in recording studios. And all of the channels that are listed here are actually routing into here. So you can make adjustments to them in real time. You can add plugins on this insert list. And all of the stuff that happens here can get recorded in your DAW. So you can add EQ and compression, you can add preamp simulation, and Universal Audio has some really great ones. We've stacked this with a lot of great tools in that way. So basically, if you're plugging some, analog means Apollo. So analog 1 through 8 are the first 8 channels of Apollo. And then ADAT is digital, and that one is this here. So there's 8 channels on that ADAT that route out to the Apollo, and then the Apollo sends it all in. So you've got all of these 8, ADAT 1 through 8 are that audient at the bottom. And again, analog 1 through 8 are the Apollo. And then there's another analog 1 through 4, which is those 4 there. There's 4 mic inserts on the back of that. And I'm probably going to rename all these so they're called the thing that they're expected to be. Yeah, so any questions so far? This is like your digital mixing board before you get into your recording software. So if you use Logic, you're going to open up Logic and you're going to choose the Universal Audio as the piece of hardware that's communicating with Logic, and that's also the piece of hardware that's communicating with the speakers. So that is your digital to audio, your digital to analog version. So to recap, if I want to record something, I take a microphone, I plug the cable in, I plug it into the back of this piece of gear or any of these pieces of gear, and then I can record it, I can see it, I can monitor it through console, and then out of console into Logic or FL or Pro Tools, and record it through my recording software. Any questions about that process?
Is that Universal Audio software to be open while your DAW is open?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it gives you, so some people hate that there's a secondary software that needs to be open, but really the way I use this at my studio is it is zero latency monitoring. So I can put a shit ton of plugins on here. Every vocal, every guitar sounds great. And then we're hearing that in real time. There's no latency. I'm not waiting for Pro Tools to load all those plugins because Universal Audio is handling that in the hardware. So it's not using computer CPU resource. So
that's likely to crash, stuff like that.
It's way less likely to crash, it's super stable. So I use the UA console app as kind of like, if we're just rehearsing and we're all in in-ears or in headphones, everything sounds awesome and you're mixing it perfectly. You also have effects buses here you can put reverb and delay on. And again, save your own settings here for however it is that you use the recording software. If you just make channels that you're always going to go to, or use the default one. I'm going to make the default one like super badass. Yeah, so it's going to have good compression and EQ on everything. It's going to be set up. You can just literally plug the drums into the right channels. It's going to sound good out of the gates. So I'll be doing that, but just not quite yet.
Do you like add other plugins on your Logic?
Mm-hmm.
Do they like, I don't know, like when you download it, is it going to take the information from UA and download it?
So you can do it one way or the other. This little button here, UAV monitor or UAV record. If I click record, it's actually going to print inside of Logic whatever I put on here. It's going to act like it's an EQ, an outboard EQ for it. So if you wanted to do that, you can, or if you just want to hear it on the way in, you would say monitor. So I always keep mine on record because I want to know that whatever I'm doing here is actually being printed. And then you don't have plugins in your session. It sounds exactly like you want it to sound, and you're not using CPU as you're recording new stuff or mixing and editing. So that's UAD console, super powerful piece of hardware, and then software. So here's a Neve. This is a preamp. You can plug a microphone into the back of it, and it's currently routed into this 1176 compressor. For people who know recording, this is a really great setup for vocals or for snare drum, pretty much anything you want to put into it, and you can adjust the compression and a bunch of EQ settings on the way in. That's going to be in channel 5 on here. The first 4 channels are mics, and then the next 4 are line inserts. So, and I'll make sure this is documented, but the Neve is going to be in channel 5 on this guy. So if I was to be recording the Neve, it would be on this channel, channel 5. The distressor we haven't routed yet, but it's just another compressor that could be routed from any of these inserts out to the compression and then back in. And this thing sounds awesome on snare drum. Sounds awesome on vocals. It basically takes your peaks and shrinks them, and it takes your quieter stuff and expands it, and so you have a much more controllable, and it adds a lot of cool color too. So I just love it.
Basically masters your shit off of it.
It kind of sounds like it's already like
pressed perfectly. Yeah.
So any questions about this setup? We also have this synth, and there's another synth down there that are available. There's a keyboard over there that's a nice chord with a bunch of cool sounds, and then a guitar and a bass. We're still working on getting a guitar amp and a bass amp so that people don't have to bring their own. Yeah, so that is the studio. And again, totally separate system from the sound and lights. So whatever you're planning to record here, you bring out a mic, you plug it into the back, and you press record in your system. In the back here, on this side is studio equipment, and so the microphones that are back there are generally used for studio purposes. And then on the right side, that stuff is generally used for live setting. So the mics are they're more dynamic mics and less condensers, because you don't want to put a large diaphragm condenser in the middle of this room and turn on the speakers. That would be saved for the studio setting. So all the live mics over there, all of the studio mics over here. this desk is on wheels and it rolls back. So the default state to this would be this desk is sitting underneath the TV and the wall is closed. And that's how we would expect the space to be left. Unless you know the people coming in behind you and they're like, hey, leave
You can use
the studio
Slack
channel.
channel for that.
Yeah,
Little communication.
perfect. All right, any questions about this? There's DI boxes, there's cables, there's a bunch of microphones. And then one cool thing that we did with